Hello. Welcome back to Listen in Podcast. For a second, I forgot it was me. That was up.
You were just waiting for somebody else to start talking.
My song is like, oh, my song is on the thing. I put it there because I'm in control of that. Who goes now? It's me. Anyways, the artist I am bringing today, Lostboycrow, real name Chris Blair, is an indie pop artist from the Pacific Northwest who constantly bends and mixes genre throughout their discography. And in interviews, he has said he likes to go with the flow and let inspiration come to him, which certainly lines up with what I heard going through his tracks and the influences with electronica, R&B, rock, surf rock, Americana, and more. Lostboycrow has been fairly prolific since his debut in 2016 and has released at least one EP or full album every year since then. So if you like what you hear today and are curious about the rest of his work, there's plenty to dig into. Also, in interviews, he said he likes to play and watch sports. So I don't know if I could hang out with him a whole lot because I don't do the sports ball. But he did also say he likes pizza, so maybe it could work out because I love pizza. Also featured artist in this song, since it is a rework of the original, is artist AVIV, who was 15-ish around the time of this 2022 recording, and is a multi-instrumentalist singer-songwriter from Toronto who released her debut single in 2021, so possibly at the age of 14, a running theme in this recording, 14-year-old people and people who once were 14. So I hope she also likes pizza. Anyways, pizza or not, the year is now 2023.
I was never 14.
No, I was. Some of us were born.
I tried to make my joke,
15.
but I was muted, so I had to interrupt you. I'm sorry. Continue.
Anyways, the year is now 2023, and we are listening to the song Strawberry Sunscreen Rework by Lostboycrow featuring AVIV. Let's go.
What's your type? She'll paint a cabinet from the 60s and find diamonds when she's thrifting. Oh, what's it like to be the muse of every true romantic west of the Atlantic? Hey, little darling, run like the weekend. I get lost and found in your arms. Rooftop view, we met on a Wednesday. Now which do you prefer? To be alone, to be in love, but it just be worth it. I think you're worth it. Meet me under the movie screen. I'll kiss your face in the dark. Don't really care if it's too soon to say, but I like the way you pull me apart.
Won't you just love to run away? Could change our names and disappear. It's only us and the sun until we burn and the weather clears. Oh, I hate all the motions that pull us apart. The sea and the ocean, your face and the stars. These times get confusing, we're lost in the sea. When I reconsider, you look back at me and say,
Taste the strawberry sunscreen. Laughing at songs from the 90s. Don't really care if it rains or it shines. I'm still stuck inside the treasure chest center of both of your eyes. Kiss with them open to see what it's like to be loved.
to be loved.
So is your sunscreen strawberry flavored?
No, you're not supposed to eat sunscreen. It doesn't
Really?
work that way.
I thought it was just another form of mayonnaise. It's not?
No. I'm
No, and
sorry.
then at that point you'd be making music with it, not eating it.
Doing it
Mayonnaise
wrong
is an
this whole
instrument.
time. Mayonnaise is an instrument.
I'm so confused right now.
Jesse, you know what I'm talking about though, right?
I think I do, but I don't want to.
SpongeBob? SpongeBob?
Oh.
No?
Oh, okay, that's why I'm lost
No,
right
I,
now.
I didn't remember
Okay.
that bit from SpongeBob.
Is mayonnaise an instrument? No, it's a Patrick Star
That
moment.
sounds like a Patrick thing. Yeah.
No, my sunscreen doesn't taste like strawberry. It'd probably be very problematic if it was, because I'd probably be eating it. Much to Kay's disapproval, probably. And in the chat, I did say this song is also a banger. But
I said this with a little arrow
yeah.
up.
And in contrast to the past song where Kay said that this was a banger, I am agreeing to that sentiment for this song, but the difference here is that I have not previously listened to this artist or song prior to this whole little session here. So this is a brand new banger for me, and man, this
Why
song.
does that sentence sound so weird?
It's probably because I don't know how to English properly. I'm kind of stuck between Japanese and English now.
Forever.
It's the unfortunate.
Suddenly
yeah.
you're fluent.
But yeah, wow. Strawberry Sunscreen. I do appreciate first and foremost that you did make sure that you gave us the parentheses, allowed us to know about the rework. I have no idea what that means. What is a rework? Is this like a version 2 of the song? I don't know. But I will say that I am upset slightly that it's only 2 minutes. Why is it only 2 minutes? And why does it work so well at 2 minutes? It's like half of me is just like, man, this is incredible. I love this. And then like at the other side of me, I'm just like, yeah, it makes kind of sense that it's 2 minutes. But I don't know. It's just like, oh, this song is amazing.
To speak to the rework quality of it or aspect of it, I heard this version before I heard the original. And the original is actually pretty close. It's just like it doesn't have AVIV in it. But I thought like she added like a little bit of extra something to it. So I thought that'd be more interesting to bring in. And what was my other thought? Yeah, this strawberry sunscreen, like I think the name in itself is like really good. It's like it's a great name. It's very specific but weird, and like I think that kind of goes along with a lot of the lyrics in the song, that it's like specific but weird, or like you don't know exactly what's going on. I think something that kind of changed a little bit between the original version and the new version is that
I threw my phone. I didn't get angry. Let me make sure I didn't break it. I did not break it. Continue.
the original had some more like specific lyrics, like how in the first verse there's like cabinet from the 60s is like a very specific image, and then later on they ask, there's a part that gets swapped out for the AVIV stuff that like asks like, do you like the Velvet Underground? So like specific things, and but instead it's mostly just this weird sort of like I like the way you pull me apart, or run like the weekend, which is like, I don't know what that means exactly.
I like it. I know exactly what it means.
Run like the weekend?
Like, is that a Super Bowl reference?
I don't think they mean The Weeknd like the artist.
Oh,
I think that they mean I think that they mean like if you're in school, right? If you're like a kid in school, during class you're like sitting around, but on the weekend is when you get to run free. Like it's with energy. You're free. Yeah, that's what it means to me.
Oh, energy. That's the thing that I forgot that I was actually going to comment on. is the song life. It's like, I feel that they pack in the energy of like most 3-minute, 30-second songs and just like squish it into 2 minutes. And so like it doesn't feel wrong that it's that length.
Yeah. And I think also, to tie this in with another note that I had, I think the reason why the length works so well for me, and why I don't really have a problem with it, even though at the same time I'm just like, oh man, this is so good, I don't want more, is because you look at the first verse and we have that line, she'll paint a cabinet from the 60s, and you were saying something about like how, I think on the original, they make a reference to like Velvet Underground, also 60s band. Something that stood out to me in this song in particular, something about its vibe and also its instrumental layering. While it might not be very overt, but to me, because of my prior experience, so much prior experience with this band, I was making that connection, but again, it could be just inaccurate. But this feels very Beach Boys to me, and it's not just because of the beachy vibes. Like I listen to like a lot of like the like psychedelic era of the Beach Boys, which they kind of stray away from the whole beachy thing. It's more of like pet sounds and good vibrations, where it's these really intricate layerings, these almost proto like Baroque pop sort of layering. And I get a sense from that, and with what I'm hearing from Jesse saying, like, oh, you know, in the original there's this Velvet Underground thing, and you know, we're painting cabinets from the '60s, and then they're also talking later in the song, you know, we sing songs from the '90s. It feels like it's definitely kind of like they want us to, you know, kind of like think about the past and things like that. So maybe there is this intention of wanting us to feel some inspiration from the Beach Boys. If there is an inspiration from the Beach Boys, I don't know, but I'm definitely picking up on it, especially with the whole line about the '60s. So who knows? Maybe there's some credibility there, but I get a lot of Beach Boys vibe from it musically.
I get very specifically Summer Lovin' from Grease.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like the vibe that I
Yeah.
get from it
Mm-hmm.
entirely.
I
actually.
get both of those things. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because to me this has like a very like the core of it is this sort of like 1950s rock and roll, but then you layer on like some 60s sounds like the electric organ, and then there's all these other things like the claps, and then
Yep.
But it's not even
Yeah.
that clap.
Yeah.
It's like a really weird clap.
It's a variation of it.
It took me
throws you
several
off.
tries.
Yeah.
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 And like there's all these other little instrumental sound choices that's kind of like the runs together with that theme of like Run Like the Weekend. It's like you're a kid and the weekend like is so different from like being at school and you can let go. Is that there's sort of this silly childlike nostalgia energy to a lot of it, like that like plucking dun, 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 dun. Like I'm not sure what instrument that is, but it made me think of like putting rubber bands around like a tissue paper box and plucking it, that sort of sound.
Yeah.
And so it's just like that sort of weird, like silly, like this is doesn't really fit in most like serious genres sort of sound palettes, and it's just a lot of fun to me.
Yeah.
It's very like free and childlike. The other song it actually reminded me of, and this might not make any sense, and I can't explain why I'm getting this, is the K-pop girl group Weekly and their song After School specifically. Do you know what I'm talking about, Alexis?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and I don't know if it's just like that one instrumental line is a little bit similar, or if it's just that literally that song is called After School, and it's about like being free and having fun after school.
Yeah.
Maybe it's that vibe that I'm getting from it, but for some reason that's the connection I'm making.
And I can't help but feel like Jacob Collier, who's watching right now, obviously is. He probably heard what you're saying, Jesse, about the whole like this rubber band thing. You know, it's not typical sound palette for other series songs.
That's going to be in his next song.
It's going to be in his next song. He's going to take the challenge. He's watching right now, and he's going to take that challenge. So we got to be on the lookout for that.
Hi, Jacob.
Looking forward to it, Jacob.
Thanks for being cool, Jacob.
He's going to have like a cool, just like achromatic solo on a rubber band, stretched rubber band. It's going to be wild. It's going to be amazing.
I want to see that actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just send that to him.
Another similarity here that I got from the music, did the voice ever stand out to either of you as like it reminded you of somebody else? I wanted to hear your thoughts if it
Lost
ever
Boy
even
Crow's voice or Aviv's voice?
Lostboycrow. Like, has his voice ever stood out to you in some sort of way that made you think of somebody else, or no?
Kind of, but I can't put my finger on it really.
Okay. Because to me, there are some moments in his singing um, where his voice just reminds me so much of like Ezra from Vampire Weekend. Does that sound accurate to either of you?
I don't know off the top
Oh,
of my
okay.
head.
So maybe
In
it's
the
just
chat, in the comments, if you know who Alexis is talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was already familiar with Lostboycrow. This feels a little bit like K Week. And actually, I found out as we were listening, I went, "Oh wait, I know Aviv too," and I figured out that I also like a song from Aviv. But I did want to share. I played all of the songs for this episode for April, my girlfriend April, last night. Just because I don't know, I kind of thought she would like this week's choices, so I was like, "Hey, why don't we listen to these together?" She really liked this one. She was like, "I really like that last one," and then she said, "Who is it?" And I said, "Lostboycrow." She said, "We used to love a song by Lostboycrow. We listened to it all the time," and so it took us a little bit to figure out what it was because it was like before I was consistent about making Spotify playlists. And collecting songs like a weird little dragon, that it was Stay a Little Longer. Jesse, did you listen to that one?
No, but I will as soon as we're done
Oh,
with
it's
this.
so good, but it's definitely more in the like summer EDM bop kind of vibe. That was like the peak of like the summer EDM pop, I think. Summer dance pop sound. But so I have heard Lostboycrow before, and I do love that song, and I now have it on my liked songs, and I've been listening to it pretty much all day today as I was driving around. I don't know where I was going with that, other than to share that I know this artist and that song is really good, but I forgot that I knew this artist, so thank you for reminding me that I know this artist.
Yeah, I think the thing here was it's interesting how like my experience was like, oh, this reminds me of somebody. I'm not sure who it reminds me of, and then for you, it's like, oh, this reminds me of someone, and then April was like, yeah, it reminds you of him because we listened to this before.
And the name sounded familiar, but I checked and I like couldn't find anything, so I was like, oh, I just must have heard it somewhere. But no, like we listened to that song all the time. I still knew all the words when I listened to it. In the chat we have, is it Lizeth? Is that right? Lizeth? Okay, yes. Thank you. Now I know how to say her name properly. Lizeth said yes, and I think that was at your Vampire Weekend reference. Okay. And then Trick Switch said Alexis read my mind on both the Beach Boys and Vampire Weekend. Ooh. So Alexis, you are right. 2 points to you. You'll win your prize at the end of the episode.
Yes. Oh, the year supply of strawberry sunscreen.
Don't eat
it. Hopefully. Yeah, I'm not going to eat it. No, that's really cool. And to bring back the Beach Boys briefly, I forgot to bring the circle back with my point about the Beach Boys and the similarities I was feeling. The reason why I brought that up to begin with was the reason why I feel like I am so okay with the length of the song is that a lot of Beach Boys music was also really short too. A lot of their songs were like 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. So when I started like piecing those similarities together and whether or not it's a like an intentional inspiration or influence on the song, it's hard to say, but in my mind, if it is, then because I'm so okay with like Beach Boys songs being so short, I think that's also why subconsciously I'm also really okay with this song being 2 minutes, because it reminds me of a Beach Boys song. So that's the last little ribbon bow tie on the point that I was trying to make.
Yeah, it really kind of feels like the perfect length to me. It made me wish that I had like one more second. But sometimes I think they do that on purpose.
1 whole second.
Yeah, 1 whole second. I needed like 4 more beats or something, and then I would have been like, that was a complete song. But I do think sometimes they do that on purpose so that you listen to it again, or
maybe, yeah,
like streaming, making songs shorter kind of situation.
Yeah.
But it does feel like it still wraps itself up in a nice little bow. And I didn't listen to the original, but I think Aviv's voice really does add a lot of interesting color and flavor. Not flavor, strawberry flavor to the sunscreen.
Yeah. Also to speak a little bit about Aviv's part, I don't know if this is how it is on the original, but on this song, when Aviv comes in, I noticed that there's a big shift in the instrumental palette, how it's more drum focused, and almost just the way that the song is arranged and layered during her part and being drum focused, it almost feels just like a different place, like spatially, it just feels like a different place. And I found that very interesting. And now hearing that Aviv is like this very talented, multi-talented person, I don't know like what it is that they are talented at, and I was wondering like maybe they know how to play the drums, and if this is different from the original where that whole drummy dominant section of that part of the song is she playing the drums in this song, and is that why there's that big shift to, because like not only is she doing the vocals for that part, but maybe she's also directing musically like what happens during her section of the song. I don't know, but I did find that really interesting, just like that shift in sound and that shift in palette when she does come in.
I wouldn't be able to speak directly to it. Her listed instruments are guitar and piano. Um, but she does also like she makes her own music, and her most popular songs have a very similar energy to this one.
Cool.
So like it really fits well, and I think the difference between like the main part and her part is just kind of their way of being like, this is when he's talking, and then this is when she's talking, and they're having a conversation kind of back and forth. And I it just like emphasizes the dynamic, because the lyrics are about like, you know, meeting someone and having a romantic relationship at the very beginning of it, when you're still getting to know each other and you're excited and you've got all this like new relationship energy, but you don't exactly know the person enough to like know if it's going to last forever. Which I think also plays into the length of the song, is that like this is, you're having fun in the moment and you don't know what's going to happen, but it's good, you're having a good time. So like
And
the
also the summer lovin' vibes, might I add.
yeah, bringing it back to that. But it's like the, for like expanding the lyric a little bit, it's in the chorus, it's don't really care if it's too soon to say, but I like the way you pull me apart. And so like liking something, so you like something the person does, it's very unique and special about them, but you don't know if it's too soon to like buy in all the way yet. Yeah.
Right.
It's cute.
It's cute.
Yeah, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was also really surprised to see how prolific he has been. I mean, he's been around for a little while, and I've never heard of him, but to see his output, I'm like, there's a lot for me to dig into, so I'm super excited.
And the quality is pretty consistent. It's very
Nice.
impressive that he's been able to, you know, put out so much music and still keep it up.
With such a range, too.
Yeah.
Mm.
A lot of respect for this artist.
Cool.
Anyways, anything else? Anyone want to add?
No, I think that covers it for me.
No, thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
You
So
got me to reintroduce myself to a song I used to love, and introduced me to a new one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can do more of that in the future. Anyways,
That's,
yeah,
you
check
know,
out
not what we do.
more of their musics for both Lostboycrow and Aviv. I think both of them have a lot of potential in the, like I feel like they're on the verge of something, both of them. So like, it's gonna, I'm excited to see where they go from here. Yeah. All right. To the outro.